All right, guys, I think this is finally working. I had to kind of refresh the page a couple times. But welcome to another Behind the Beat for May 2026. Summertime is almost here. I'm still wearing a hoodie because it's like still cold where I'm at in Ohio. Shocker, I know. But this month we're going to break down the second single from my upcoming instrumental album, Mural, a Sober Introvert. And this one's called Intricate Symptoms. Probably one of my favorite titles of a beat that I've ever like titled any type of song or beat in general. uh, I guess the title itself just comes from kind of being viewed differently because you're a sober introvert. And again, this whole project itself kind of centers around my journey as a fully sober musician. I've never drank, never smoked, never done any of that. But I'm in a world where, that stuff is very prevalent. So that's kind of the whole concept. So I think the title Intricate Symptoms just means like it's very rare. Like, how rare is that to be somebody in that world that doesn't partake in any of that extra stuff that everybody else does? So that's kind of where the title came from. And this particular instrumental just made me kind of think of that. It almost served as like a reflection piece for that. So that is kind of where the concept for it came from, and it's going to end up falling kind of right in the middle of the project when you hear it. But I thought it was great, another great one, kind of like Lost Letter that tells its own story through the music. So I wanted to put this one out next. So let's get right into this one. The main real part of this beat that is the hook for everything is the sample that I ended up slowing down, chopping it up pretty intricately, but it's a guitar and a piano combined. So after I slowed it down a bit and changed the pitch, I ended up chopping it up. As you see, there's 8 different chops here. And what I ended up coming up with was, if it will show up here, there we go. I kind of just rearranged it into its own new pattern. So this is what I ended up doing for that main part. And that right there gave me a great foundation because it has that piano, but it also has almost like a counter melody with the guitar playing in the background. So that was perfect. I mean, usually when I find any type of sample to chop up, I'm looking for ones that hopefully do a lot of the legwork already, so I don't have to do a ton in the back end. But luckily, this one had enough space in it that I could add a lot more cool elements. But the thing I immediately wanted to add next was the drums, and I wanted to go more hip hop style. And because it's 76 BPM, it kind of fits perfectly with just that very chill hip hop style of drums. So let's hear those. And I kind of broke them down into 4 bars and just kind of repeated them. Nothing crazy, but here's what they sound like. And I didn't have a bunch of changes in this one because I felt like the drums didn't need to be doing anything extra. I just kind of wanted them to be the supporter of that main hook. And then from there, I wanted to add in a thicker guitar, like more of a bass guitar. And the bass guitar that I found that I ended up using has a very nice texture to it that paired very, very well with the 2 main parts of the original guitar and the piano part. So let's hear those on their own, and then I'll probably play them with the first part, that first sample part. So let's hear those real quick. So at the end of that, like 4 bars there, I kind of created my own little chop there to make it a little bit different. But I kept some of what the original sounded like. Let me see. This is how I EQ'd it. I pretty much cut out all of the high end and just focused a little bit on the lows. Because as you see, a lot of the frequencies are down there in the low end. It's very punchy. But it already has so much good diversity in it that I didn't really have to do a ton with it. Again, I just wanted to kind of create some variation at the end of one of the four bars. But let's hear that coupled with that whole main melody. So it pairs very well. It's perfect match. So that was a no brainer right there. And then once we approach the chorus, this is where the textures for me always tend to get added in. So I had this set of strings. It's almost more of on the pad side of things. But I pretty much kept that as it was and just kind of stretched it out to fit the full chorus. So let's hear that. That is the beginning of adding these textures in. Out this real quick. And whenever I have something like that where I need to kind of stretch it out a little bit longer than what it normally is, I try to EQ and put some reverb on it in a certain type of way to make it sound a bit different. So for this one, looks like I cut out most of the high end and most of the low end and focused on the mids. And that's per usual with a lot of synths, strings, things like that. You don't want a bunch of low end, at least I don't, because it'll clash with the bass. So focused more on the mids here, and then for reverb, added a decent amount of saturation, added some decay. Pretty simple, standard stuff for me. And then the final sound, which is on the pre-chorus and the chorus itself, is from Pigments, and it is an ARP, which is called, let's see what this one's called, Wave Sequenced. I don't think I use this one a lot, but Pigments has a ton of great ARPs and strings and other textures. I've talked about this before. This is one of the only plugins I use like in general because it provides me with the right amount of just extra elements that make everything sound a lot more complete and a lot more full. And it did it once again on this. And I'll play this real quick and then I'll show you guys the full beat. And I tried to play to just match the main melody for this. Did you guys see the And I like how Pigments will show you kind of visually what the sound looks like, what type of sound wave it is, things like that. I always thought that was pretty cool with Pigments. So you kind of get an idea of what you're dealing with each sound. But that is it. 5 main tracks in this one. And let's hear it all the way through, or not all the way through, but let's hear it all together with all 5 elements going at once. So there you have it. That is Intricate Symptoms. I made this one a little bit longer. It is around 3 minutes total, which may or may not kill my chances of being playlisted a lot, but I'm starting to care less and less about that stuff. That was gross. Hopefully you guys didn't see that. I'm starting to care less and less about, like doing things for playlists and things like that. I think I'm really just getting reminded of like doing it because I want to put out the music that I want to put out. So, if it doesn't do as great, who cares? Honestly, because I believe in this track and I'm really excited about this project in general. I think this one is, everybody says their next thing is their best thing, but I think this is definitely my favorite instrumental album I've done so far. So I'm excited for you guys to hear it. But this track, Intricate Symptoms, is out now on all platforms. You can check it out. And I'll put the link in the description of the video. And thanks again, as always, for tuning in to this edition of Behind the Beat. Next month for June, we're going to be doing the third and final single, title to be revealed very soon. But after that, it'll be time to get this album out to you guys in July, early release, August, official release. So everything is in place, ready to go. But yeah, be on the lookout for that coming next month. Thank you guys again for tuning in. We'll see you next time on another edition of Behind the Beat. Until then, take care, everyone.